in discussion. Roll call vote. Mr. Brown.
Aye.
Mr. Schubsta.
Aye.
Mr. Anders.
Aye.
Mr. Barrett.
Aye.
Mr. Holtsafer.
Aye.
Mr. Ladenburg.
Aye.
Mrs. Gilbert votes aye. We have 7 ayes. The signs will now be erected, Mr. Pepe, is that correct? All right. New business, we have nothing in our binders. Unfinished business, part 2, we have nothing. Mayor's report. Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have two proclamations to read. The one is for Fire Prevention Week. Proclamation 390. Whereas the Borough of Emmaus is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our borough. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. And whereas 3 out of 5 home fire deaths result from fires in properties without working smoke alarms. And whereas in 1/5 of all homes with smoke alarms, none were working. And whereas when smoke alarms should have operated but did not do so, it was usually because batteries were missing, disconnected, or dead. And whereas Emmaus Borough residents should install smoke alarms in every sleeping room, outside each separate sleeping area, and on every level of the home. And whereas Emmaus Borough first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas the 2015 Fire Prevention Week theme, Hear the Beep Where You Sleep. Every bedroom needs a working smoke alarm. Effectively serves to remind us that we need working smoke alarms to give us the time to get out safely. Now therefore I, Winfield Yopes, Mayor of the Borough of Emmaus, do here proclaim October 4th to the 10th, 2015 as Fire Prevention Week throughout this borough. And I urge all the people in Emmaus to install smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each sleeping area, and on every level of the home, including the basement, and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Emmaus Fire and Emergency Services during Fire Prevention Week 2015. Done this 5th day of October 2015 at the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. And now I have a proclamation 389 for Trick or Treat Night. Whereas the Emmaus Halloween Committee has deemed it appropriate to designate a special night in the Borough of Emmaus as Trick or Treat Night. And whereas this traditional Halloween festivity has been enjoyed by many children, generation after generation, here in the borough. Now therefore I, Winfield Yopes, Mayor of the Borough of Emmaus, Pennsylvania, do here proclaim Thursday, October 29th, 2015, as Trick or Treat Night for the Borough of Emmaus, and in the spirit of Halloween, I call on all residents who wish to participate in this cheerful festivity to turn on your porch lights between 6 o'clock p.m. and 8 o'clock p.m. to light the way in acknowledgement of your participation. Done this 5th day of October 2015 at the Borough of Emmaus, Lehigh County, Pennsylvania. I want to ask council. I always, look on what people have to say or call me or whatever. And really, I only got 3 calls out of the Borough of Emmaus that weren't happy with the night again. Last year it was because depending, when a football game fell and, falls on that. So I don't know how you feel about this, or we just have to decide it, like from year to year and see what happens, I guess. So I'd like to hear what someone has to say.
It's your choice. I don't have a problem either way, but I'm a traditionalist. It's always been a Thursday in Emmaus, but I understand the reasoning behind the other view, and to me it really doesn't matter. Just pick a night and it's fine, but that's your decision.
Okay. Well, I want to know how council feels.
As long as the kids are safe, that's all I care about.
Yes.
Yeah, I would say actually the biggest piece is not necessarily the day, but the consistency. And just so that residents can rely on, for years they relied on just Thursday, and then partially because of weather and just kind of a changing philosophy based on some concerns that we had from residents, we had moved it around a little bit. So I think whatever keeps it consistent is the easiest for residents to more or less digest the idea of, right, this is when Halloween is. I don't think anyone is that particular about it, but if they are, as long as there's something consistent, at least we can give them that answer.
Doesn't matter to me one way or the other.
Yep.
Anybody else have any comments?
Okay.
Nope.
progress.
Mr. Holzhaver?
My parents' neighborhood is flooded with children that are not from
Outside the
Emmaus.
Right.
And I don't know how you adjust to figure out where they're from and what night they won't come, but I know my parents are no longer participating in trick or treat because I don't remember what my mom gives out. 300 in less than an hour. She has 300 kids at her door in less than an hour, and it's just
500.
Right.
So you're short.
500 in less than an hour. So, and they're not. Majority of them are not neighborhood kids. So, I don't know how you. I don't know how you.
I
fix
know,
that problem.
and that's a couple of the complaints that I received, and it's always up in that end of town. It doesn't seem, I don't get any complaints.
Third and
in this
Harrison, I
area.
would say, is like the main point of
Right.
where they are, and they spread out from there.
Star section 2.
You get them too.
Yeah.
You get them.
Because
right?
they come from
They come in
Salisbury.
vans, buses, whatever.
It's tough because you have, we border so many different municipalities that have it different nights. I mean, like he said, I agree, consistency. I mean, I'm more a traditionalist. Halloween is the 31st, doesn't matter what day of the week it is, but, you know, I agree. Just keep it the same and then, you know, people follow. I don't care which
Right,
day,
and if
but-
they don't want to turn the light on, and then they
Then they
just
don't
don't turn the light
participate.
on. Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
It's up to you, Mr. Mayor.
I get to eat all my candy because nobody can.
I don't get your house.
We're all coming now.
No, I gotta turn my light on.
No, no. I know better now.
I don't get trick or treat.
Once it gets about half February, so
All right, committee reports. Public Works, Mr. Labenberg.
I'll have to report progress. I was unable to have a meeting because my 2 members weren't able to attend. So,
And your next meeting is November 5th?
Thursday, 3:30 here in council chambers, yes.
Very good. Health, sanitation, and codes, Mr. Shubsta.
I think we had enough of this today. I just want to apologize. Honestly, I mean, there was probably a lot of miscommunication going on. I was unaware of this email, and when you explained it, it made total sense. They just didn't pick it up, and you just wanted to know why.
Right.
Oh, I had other things.
Well, I'm sure.
I didn't even bring them up. Like, that's just it. I've let it go.
Yeah, to be honest, like that, he took the smallest issue and decided to fight that battle is what just went on there.
Yeah, and I don't see a lot of these emails. My email box is not filled with residents who are sending emails.
Right, but we do. We do hear.
They're coming.
You get it.
That's
you
our
hear
day-to-day
it,
job
yes.
here.
Right, but I don't get those from you very often. And I ask how many we get, and it's like 15. You say, we get that many, and that's what we used to get in the past. Some of the issues, yes, I've heard those before. Mr. Ladenburg said that they've mixed things together. I've heard that in other meetings that we've had.
And they flat out deny that. They
Correct.
flat out deny that.
Yeah, and that's a shame because we stress recycling. We want to make sure that they're doing the right thing and not mixing it all together. The meeting that we had prior to this evening's went well. They said they would step it up. They would make changes. There was a lack of communication that we figured out was between Jessica and their manager. He was not getting back to her when she had complaints. He was getting back directly to you, Shane, and that's
He
what
was not though. That's part
yeah,
of the problem.
that was part of the problem. But now we've
Right.
addressed that if there's a list of issues that she needs to also be copied on them because she's unaware of the situation.
The problem with the fines was we would file a complaint with them, they would not respond.
Yep.
Our position was if they didn't respond, we did
filed
the
a
fine,
fine.
and we didn't start fining until June when the committee directed us to start fining because we could quadruple that number
Oh yeah.
if we would have started farther back. The committee decided we'll give them another shot, we'll alleviate the fines.
And then
We thought we had that settled. Obviously,
there was a miscommunication again, and he was complaining about a fine, and I'm unaware of that fine, and so are you.
well, and obviously so are the rest of us.
Right. So we'll.
This was the theme of that meeting, though. That's how that meeting, the Health and Sanitation Committee meeting,
Yep.
that's how that meeting started, too.
The tone?
The same tone.
Yes.
And it actually
And
started
it was all
between
based
him
on
and a
it was all
resident.
based on fines.
And, it was the same tone
We'll see.
in that meeting, too, for whatever reason.
So, again, I apologize. hopefully, if there are issues and the residents have these problems, I mean, please let us know. Moving forward, I was one of the councilmen who had to be convinced when we were doing the contract. So, again, am I convinced? I'm not yet.
We'll see
Haven't
what
made that
happens moving
decision.
forward.
Moving forward, I'd like to be convinced. Other than that, I'll report progress. Sorry, you have a question? Yeah.
I just want to point out, so you met 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
That incident I brought up about the garbage can being 6 feet into the street and my recycling can 3 feet behind that.
That was a week after.
That was just last Wednesday.
Okay.
So that's after your meeting and it still happened.
But, right, because the resident that was in attendance, he had that same complaint.
He
I
did.
actually had
And-
photos of mine
He did.
that it did happen to.
And there was-
where mine
It was the same incident that I mentioned where one side was all done perfectly. This is the same Wednesday. And my side of the street, all the way down, the cans were in the street. So that was last Wednesday after you already met.
Right.
I
And then
honestly
we
don't
could
think-
address that.
I honestly don't think we're trying to pick them apart.
No.
I really think, though, like, the concern that I have, the concern that Jessica has, and I think the concern that you have, is we try to, like, we're addressing the same issues week after week after week after week. I mean, like, the issues that were going on in January are still going on October 5th. And, I mean, we're 10 months in, and the concern is they're not going away. I get when the wind blows, the trash blows, too.
I get that. And
I'm
when it
not-
rains
We all
and-
understand that.
I understand.
And we've said that to him.
We did.
But I don't get missing entire streets over and over and over again. Entire streets. And that happened as recently as Wednesday. He missed 2 complete streets. And I got zero explanation other than, yeah, okay, we missed it, we'll pick it up.
Was one of those the Ridge Street that was
Seemed-
discussed?
Long.
Was it long?
That gentleman contacted us
Okay.
the other day. His entire block was completely missed.
Missed. Okay.
I mean, there were several streets that were completely missed. And it's more so on the recycling side than it is
On regular
on
trash.
the trash side. But it's a consistent concern and it's a consistent battle. I don't care how many complaints he says he gets. We're dealing with this all day, the day after. And I mean, that's an entire day that a secretary down here is
Correct.
dealing with that issue.
Yeah. Answering phone calls, sending emails, waiting for
and then
responses.
she's being taken away from doing her regular job. Same as Shane. Shane has other things to deal with
Right.
than just trash, wasting a whole day. And I'm sorry, it's wasting his time, which is very valuable. And that's unacceptable. He shouldn't have to be dealing with that all day long.
Anybody?
Jessica does an excellent job.
Yes.
Yes, she does.
She does. She tracks
does.
all
Because
of
it's-
it. She follows it up.
It's a battle all day the next day.
She's the one that gets the calls and
No,
sends
she
out the
does
emails, so
does a very good job with that.
she does.
Our next meeting is scheduled for October 15th at 4:30 PM in council chambers. I'll report progress.
Very good, thank you. Parks and Recreation, Mr. Anders.
Nothing official to report. Our next meeting on October 6th is canceled. We will meet then the 1st November, which is November 3rd, in council chambers. Progress.
Thank you.
I have a question for
Mr.
Councilor.
Schuster.
Yes. The Furnace Dam area was damaged this weekend by vandals. So you,
Playground?
yeah, you probably weren't made aware of that. I told
No.
Shane directly about it. And today around 4 o'clock, a large hunk of the tree there, right next to the play equipment, broke off. I mean, just broke off at 4 o'clock, which, I mean, there's kids that go there to play after school. I don't know if we need to have somebody do an inspection on some of the trees in our parks to make sure that.
We've already identified several, especially in that
Okay.
park.
Yep.
Some of them are so large that
They.
we are not cutting them down. We're going to need a tree company
Okay.
to cut them. So we need to actually budget some funds to do that because there's more than that park. We've done a survey of almost all of our properties.
All of the properties.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there are some very large trees that they could end up in the pond if we cut them.
Yeah, and we're in that time now, in that period where
right.
here we come with the storms and everything.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
We will address that large the large branch, and if that tree is in imminent danger, maybe we need to take that.
Yeah,
tree.
I'm just worried about it because, they just don't fall down at 4 o'clock like that. Okay, thank you. Wait, everybody, wait. Did I miss something? Where'd everybody go?
They're doing their first aid class.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Andrews, you're going to report progress then for Parks and Rec?
Progress.
All right, thank you. Public safety. Public safety is bringing forward the Director of Emergency Services. After we interviewed numerous individuals, the committee is making a recommendation this evening. Committee is recommending David Nelson out of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, with a salary of $71,000. His start date would be October 26th, and this would be contingent upon his FBI fingerprint check coming back clean. That's one that we still have outstanding. So I would like somebody from the committee to make a motion to appoint David Nelson as the Director of Emergency Services. Motion by Mr. Brown. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Barrett. Discussion? Mr. Ladenburg.
Just want to make a comment. We had 4 extremely qualified and well-trained candidates where, as a council as a whole, after interviewing them all, we all agreed that any one of them could have stepped in and done the job properly. And we just felt that this one would fit our style more and that we're ready to go.
We had 50 overall candidates. They spread everywhere from here to Nevada, to Florida, to Idaho, to Colorado. I think there were 21 in-state and 29 out-of-state. So we had, just to get it down to a top 4 for you was definitely a challenge for public safety. So,
Mr. Brown?
I just want to say that I'm excited about the progression that we're taking with different management in the sense of vision and what's coming down the road. The fire department does 375 to 400 calls a year. The ambulance, I think, is close to 2,000 now. They're on track for 2,000 for the year. So having Mr. Nelson, who fits that mold of having vision, I think is a person that is definitely going to be good for the borough. I'm excited. So.
Thank you. Any further?
I just want to point out, it's also nice that we're hiring another veteran. So I think that's how many veterans in a row that we hired? I think it's 2 or 3 in a row.
Mr. Andrews?
I just wanted to also, besides the hiring, also show that, as we saw tonight with our ambulance, that they've come a long way, and make note that this is not, in light to anything they've done. They've done a phenomenal job over there, and it's very much appreciated.
Any other further? Oh, that's good English. Any more comments, concerns, questions? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes. I'd like to also thank Ray Stackhouse. He was very valuable through our whole process.
Yeah.
He was a great help. Without him, I don't know if we could have gone through everything. So truly, he was nice. All right. I think that's all public safety has. We do have a meeting October 7th. Yeah, October 7th. It's not listed on here, but October 7th at 3 o'clock we have a meeting. I'll report progress. General Administration, Mr. Barrett.
Yes, the General Administration meeting, we haven't had one in a while, but we have one coming up October 14th. But on our agenda right now, we have a lease agreement. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Dimick if you want to outline anything that you thought was important.
It's basically a 2-year lease with Neighbors Helping Neighbors, $1,000 a month, $1,000 security deposit. That's it in a nutshell, which is the rudiments of it. The things that I were working on was working on were dovetailing certain timeframes, putting in confession of judgment clauses and things of that nature to allow us to get possession quicker if we needed to for certain reasons. Shane had done a good job giving me a base to work from, and then I just added the necessary legal things. So as far as I'm concerned, if this is the way you wish to proceed, you could just go ahead and enact it tonight.
Great. Is everyone familiar with Neighbors Helping Neighbors? I think we talked about it the last meeting a bit. Okay, just making sure that everyone on council is aware of that group. Yeah, I think it's great that we're able to get this together, and I'll place it in the form of a motion to approve the lease agreement in front of us.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Lavenberg. Discussion? Mr. Lavenberg.
I just want to say, if anyone hasn't been by there, I went by yesterday, and I was really surprised at how well that property cleaned up with all the shrubs that were removed, the corner where the tree and all the brush was, all that removed. That lot looks so much larger now, and it looks sharp. If you haven't been by it, look at it. It looks really nice. Public Works did a nice job.
But the house is ready to go.
Yeah, it's a great house
it's
inside as
prepared.
well. I mean, the people that will benefit from this, the residents that come in, it'll be a very nice place for them to stay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes.
As I mentioned, we're meeting 9 a.m. October 14th. Progress.
Thank you. Budget and Finance, Mr. Holzapher.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll read on the agenda first would be the bill list. I'll read the resolution. Resolution 2015-24 resolved by Borough Council to authorize payment of the October 5, 2015 bill list as follows. Bill list, $181,709.13. Payroll number 20, $118,350.46. Payroll taxes, $40,509.61 for a total of $340,569.20. Done this 5th of October 2015, and I'll make that into the form of a motion.
Is there a second? Second by Mr. Schuster. Discussion? All those in favor? We have 7 ayes.
And with that, I'll report progress.
Thank you. Community Relations, Planning and Development, Mr. Brown.
We have a meeting here tomorrow at 4:15. I will report progress.
Thank you. Personal Appeals Part 2. Anyone with a personal appeal, please step forward, sign in, state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes. Hearing none. Borough Manager's Report, Mr. Pepe.
A couple things, real quick. First, if we didn't announce it at the last meeting, well, I think we did. We got the Council of the Arts grant for $1,300. There's a ceremony coming up. Paulette Lavenberg will be attending that with me, so we'll let her accept the grant award.
Nice.
We also received another grant for $500 from Susquehanna Municipal Trust for safety equipment. That will be for the Public Works Department. I also wanted to point out that we did receive second place in the 2014 Safety Award out of over 70 clients for Susquehanna Municipal Trust. We scored the second highest
Great.
in the risk management score in 2014. That's something that we're very proud of. All of our departments work very hard to improve our safety. That's reflective in the cost savings that we've seen over the last 2 years. We've saved, between the 2 years, somewhere around $600,000 in reducing our injury costs and our workers' comp insurance. So that's something to be very proud of. I won't talk about this year because I'll jinx myself, but we're working hard on continuing to improve safety, to reduce injury rates, to reduce injury costs, and this is something that everybody that works and volunteers for us should be proud of because we've worked hard for a number of years to get this far. Other than that, I have the significant revenue and expense items in the binder. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Your budget binders will be on your desks at the next council meeting. Good luck, have fun. I'm working tenaciously to get that ready for you.
Mr. Lavenberg.
Shane, I want to thank you, too. Under your leadership is the reason why we have that committee in the first place, and the fact that the General Administration Committee and then Council was willing to put it out to bid and get the company that we currently have that moved that process along. So under your leadership, I appreciate everything you have done and you deserve just as much credit as everyone on that committee.
Well, thank you. It's a team effort, and that goes for you guys. I mean, there are very few municipalities that invest money into the safety committee. I mean, you guys give the safety committee. I mean, this year it was $12,000. We were able to buy AEDs for each department to put in the buildings and in vehicles, and $5,000 towards safety equipment that committee got to choose what departments got it and for what reasons. So, you know, Mr. Knopf has been on the committee, I think, for 2 years now. And you know, we rotate our committee every 2 years. I think the departments are buying into it. I think, you know, we're working to continue to improve safety. You'll see that in your budgets requests this year too. Every department is asking for safety-related items and spelling it out. So it's turning into a cultural change, which is what we were striving for.
Shane, just one thing.
Mr. Anderson?
I do notice that we have the wheelchair van, and I thought I saw it, that it's up. Is it?
It is in.
And I think that's great that we can start getting.
Yeah, it's the new wheelchair van is here. We are getting it striped. We had to go through a little bit to get it inspected because they didn't send the proper paperwork with it the first time.
Great.
So it's inspected, it's ready to go. We're getting it striped, and then it'll be in service for them. We would not put it in service until it's properly striped.
Absolutely. Okay, great. Thank you.
Mr. Barrett, were you,
What's up?
did you want to make a comment?
Oh,
You want to stripe it?
my comment was just a thank you. I mean, actually, I will actually say it in that, I mean, Brandon actually said a lot of what I wanted to say, but and you kind of then echoed it further, is that it's not just, I mean, it's leadership, yes, to initiate it, but that there's really been buy-in all the way through, and that's so great to see. I mean, it's a cultural change, as you mentioned, but yes, the employees get to work in a safer environment, which is really important, and I mean, you just said it, $600,000 is how the residents benefit from a safer workplace, and that's, I mean, that's just an enormous number to be able to save in a 2-year time period. So it's partially a thank you from a leadership standpoint, that we've had good leadership that has gotten the employees to buy in, but thank you to the employees for buying in and making it a conscious effort to have a safer workplace. So thank you.
Very good. Anyone else have any comments? All right. President's business. I have executive session on our agenda for this evening to discuss a personnel matter. Are we going to have action when we come out? No? All right. I do not anticipate any action when we return. Oh, okay. The mayor would like to make a comment.
Hey, I gotta just say this, don't the mayor's movie look nice?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Then we go around the corner and we don't have our haunted house of Emmaus anymore. How about it?
And
All
Mayor,
them years, boy, I want that baby.
Yeah, it took how many years, Mayor, right?
and Mayor,
Right.
inside is beautiful too because they repainted everything inside
yeah, I
too.
know, I was in.
Ceiling and everything looks
Yeah.
sharp. Looks very
You know,
sharp.
You're talking to, Brent, you're talking the movie.
Yeah, the theater.
Well, now, you know, as Dutchmen, we go where it's cheap, you know.
I was
The,
there last week. I love that theater.
Well, you're a Dutch girl.
comedy show.
Yeah, I was there Saturday.
Mr. President, if I may, the
Mr. Pepe, go ahead.
the South Cherry Street property is scheduled for demolition the week of the 19th.
Okay.
We will be starting demolition on the 19th. There's asbestos in the house, so
Oh.
snakes?
there were 6 live snakes also in the house still.
Really?
Yeah, so we're dealing with some abatement. We're dealing with asbestos, but it's falling right around where our budgeted number that we have in the account, and as a result of the improvements at the Broad Street property. So we're within like $1,000 of that total, which was surprisingly high. But the asbestos, and they can't just hit it with
No.
a sledgehammer. They have to actually go inside
take
and
that out
remove
first.
it. I cannot in good faith send our public works guys in there to remove that. I'm sorry. If you haven't seen the photos, I invite you to look at them. I cannot send them in there because they have to wear astronaut suits to walk inside that house. So there is more expense than what we originally anticipated. But nonetheless, the 19th is scheduled.
Okay.
It'll take about a week to complete.
Very good. All right. As I had indicated, I do need an executive session. I do not anticipate any action when we return, so we will be in recess at 8:11.
What are you doing?